I know this has been a particular cause of Labour MP for Warwick and Leamington, Matt Weston. He's been trying to raise the issue in the Commons for several years, back when figures were first released, in fact, January of last year, when he said this.
According to the CPS data, Warwickshire has the lowest conviction rate. That's a conviction rate of 1.3%. Dame Vera Baird, the Victims Commissioner, criticised it as the effect of decriminalisation of rape. She's right, isn't she?
Yes. No, she's not right. And we understand, of course, that we need to do better when it comes to charging rates and outcomes on rape and RASO. The Director of Public Prosecutions accept that, and I accept that.
That was a year ago, Matt Weston asking that question and getting that response in the House of Commons. The Labour MP for Warwick and Leamington joins me live this morning on CWR. Matt Weston, morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Phil.
I know you were listening in, weren't you, to that conversation we just had with Sarah Dines from the Home Office. The claim that things are getting better, Operation Soteria. I mean, it seems like they're taking this seriously, doesn't it? Is that working?
Well, I did listen in, and taking it seriously. Well, for goodness sakes, and the claim that it's getting better, it could not get worse, Phil. Warwickshire, as you rightly said, has the worst conviction rate in the whole of England and Wales, 1.3%. Now, I said that, as you picked up, over a year, almost a year and a half ago, and I've been banging on about it in Parliament because it's such a crucial thing. This does not have anything to do with COVID. If you go back to the data, I think you used a clip from Philip Seckham, who said it peaked in 2019, or that was the worst. That was long before COVID. The truth is, this all goes back to the loss of 20,000 police officers on our streets, in our police stations, who were there working on these sorts of issues before. And basically, the Conservative government walked away from this issue.
It's clearly something you feel very impassioned about there, and you sort of followed the development of this issue, the crimes, the victims in particular of these crimes. Have you raised this issue directly with Warwickshire Police, Matt West? I mean, do you feel as though they're reacting quickly enough to this, or are they being sort of, I don't know, dragged screaming and kicking a little bit to come along to this?
Well, yes, I have raised it with the police commissioner and with the chief constables. We've had a change there relatively recently in terms of the chief constable. But I have raised that because it was important to do so. And the truth is that Warwickshire Police closed its rape and serious sexual offences unit back in 2014. So what's that, 8 years ago? They also, last year, closed their domestic abuse unit. Now, these are the two most important areas where you're going to address rape and serious sexual offences. Now, that sends, I think, a very clear signal about the lack of priority from the police commissioner and from the police. But, of course, it stems from the Conservative government decision to cut 20,000 police officers. You rightly picked up about the situation with our courts. There's a huge backlog in our courts. But this all predates that. It predates COVID. And I'm afraid there's just been a catastrophic collapse in public confidence as a result. And women up and down the country, but particularly in Warwickshire, have not been served by this government or by our police.
We've talked, there with Sarah Dines about problems of resourcing, about money. You've highlighted officer numbers. One of the other things that sort of, we heard from Safe Line Warwickshire yesterday was quite simply women feel as though they aren't believed by the police when they do bring these matters to their attention. It's attitudes of officers themselves that need to improve on this, isn't it?
Yes, there is, I think, an endemic impression that the officers, the police, just do not take these victims' claims seriously. When you're talking about a conviction rate of 1.3%, but only of the 52,000 cases reported the last data I looked at, I think this was in England, only 1,000 of those cases were taken forward. And it's, and then from that, an incredibly low number of women have actually had convictions against the perpetrator. So the complete loss of confidence felt by predominantly women, it's not just women, of course, but predominantly women in the criminal justice system, but particularly in the police, is at an all-time low. And it needs investment. We should never have got to this. As I say, women up and down the country, but particularly in Warwickshire, have not been served by our police and by our criminal justice system.
Matt Weston, Labour MP for Warwick and Leamington, with us this morning on BBC CWR.